In this video, we're going to take a detailed look at the new mouse from Phanteks, being the Helios 2 Pro. Now, I personally never used the Helios 1 or the Helios 2 Non-Pro, but the new version here I have been using quite a bit over a little bit more than a week now. But first, I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsor. That being Snugsaluffagus here. And you know the good thing about this sponsor is we all get to benefit from it. Not just me. Yes, I get to pet and cuddle the cute sponsor, but you don't get to. But at least you still get to look at this cute face and you don't have to pick up the poop. So first off, let's take a look at what you get inside your box. Of course, you're gonna get your mouse, and as you see, it comes in this gray and yellow colorway. You're gonna get your dongle, your extender, and then your cable. The cable absolutely is garbage, but of course we're buying a wireless mouse, so who really cares about that? This is the dongle that it comes with. The 4K dongle you're seeing over here is an addition. That is not included. I believe it's like $10 or $15 more of an addition onto the mouse when you add it to your cart. Now you also get this little box over here with a bunch of other accessories in it, which I never really looked at. What is this? We get a Phanteks coin? What is this? Like a 4K coin. Too bad that's not real, huh? Anyways, then you get this slew of stickers over here, whatever, a massive manual in a bunch of different languages. Okay, your warranty card. Ah, this is cool. So you get some extra feet and then little dot skates as well. And then you also get some grips. They are white grips. Now let's go and pop these open and see what kind of grips these are. If they're those really nice mushy ones that are going to really get you some, oh yeah, those are really nice. Really nice grips right there. You can tell they definitely got that kind of sinking effect. They're not too like sticky like a tape by any means. But yeah, those are really nice grips. I'm liking these. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the important stuff here. Let's talk about the Helios 2 Pro. And I have to kick it off with the build, because let me tell you what, this thing is solid. And you notice that right out of the gate. And again, with me using this quite a bit lately, and you all know I have a little bit of a firmer grip here, even though this is a smaller mouse. It is just solid, like you feel it. There's no creaking, there's no flexing anywhere, there's no button wobble up here. The buttons are super crisp, which you hear later on in the video. This thing is built incredibly solid. But right along with that, I wanna go into the coating here. The coating of this mouse, and I'm gonna pull out a couple others here, okay? So the coating of this mouse is, it feels just straight up like a plastic, a common plastic of any utensil, or maybe like the plastic of a dongle. That's what it feels like. So if you're used to like the Lamzo, you kind of got that really light, low grit type of feel right there. It's not really like textured, but you feel that. You know, coming over here to the Lamzo, or say even with like a Zowie mouse, you feel that plastic that's just butter smooth. It's that really smooth plastic, and you kind of get that grip, right? So say with the Razer ones, you kind of get a little bit more grip with these, and you feel that texture for sure. Again, coming back to the Phanteks here, again, it just feels like plastic. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? For me, honestly, I didn't like it. It felt slick to me, and it just, again, it felt very cheap. That's the way the coating felt to me, honestly, is cheap. Now, coating is preference across people. I prefer that Zowie type coating here, but the majority of coatings, of course, you're going to see are like the Glorious here, which is, again, feels kind of plasticky as well, but with a little bit of extra texture. This one just feels like the plastic without any texture, but not like a Pulsar or a Zowie. So hopefully that makes sense there. The best way to describe it, as bad as it sounds, is cheap. Now, one thing that does not feel cheap at all on this mouse are the clicks. Oh my gosh, they feel amazing, especially these side buttons. They are snappy, to the point, no give either way. They're just right there. You got that nice gap in between. If the camera can pick it right there so you can really decipher where they are. Love it. The scroll wheels, not too low, but not too high, kind of right in between. So let me give you a quick listen, and then I'm going to talk more about them. So as you just heard right there, the sound of these things are crispy and to the point, and you feel it too. It's snappy, and again, it's right there. You don't have any mushiness to them, right? But I want to talk a little bit more about 1 and 2 up here. Whenever you press them down, I mean, you got a little bit of excess give there. I'm talking mild, like I'm nitpicking here to call that out, you know what I mean? But again, you don't have any of that movement up here, but I do feel like that spring is a little tight. Is that just the switches you're using? I'm not sure. So it's not like firm like the new Logitech G Pro X2 by any means, but you just feel a little bit more spring tension, if I would say. So let me pull out my Glorious one here. This is what I've been using a lot lately here. So we all know Glorious QC. It's not perfect by any means. And you kind of get that bouncy effect over here as well. It's not as drastic even as over here on the Phantek, but again, you do kind of get that feel of that bouncy switch. So when you kind of compare it to, say, the Razer, this is the V2 Pro, these are snappy and right there. You can just go to town on these things, you know what I mean? You really can, right? So when we come back to the Phantek, I feel, and you can kind of see it a little bit more on the side, you feel like tension from up here down to there. Is that the switch? Is that the spring? Is that the plastic? Is that how it's connected in here? I'm not sure, but again, I feel like I got to put a little bit of effort into here to get that button all the way down when, say, coming over to the Razer or even to a Pulsar, for example, where they're snappy and right to the point. Now let's go and take a look at the bottom of the mouse here. Again, as you see, you got that yellow colorway going along here. You have your DPI button, which that light does light up. I don't know if it'll light up right now. Yeah, it does show you right there, but it goes off because I set mine to off. So by the way, yes, what you set in the software saves to the mouse. But again, DPI button over here, you can use it via wired, your dongle, or Bluetooth mode. So really cool to have all three modes. I absolutely love that. But I want to touch on these feet right here. Very nice glide, very nice and smooth, but they are kind of Logitech-ish. So there you go. You can see pretty good there. See that lip from the yellow? And then look at the skate. It's pretty much inside there. So I would think some bigger skates just to get that lip off there. Did I notice any severe drag? No, I really didn't. But again, you can, even if you just go straight like this, you can feel it's like, bam, that lip that's cut out there, and then right to the skate, which is pretty thin. Again, kind of like we've seen on the new Logitech G Pros. But again, as I stated, even with that little issue with the feet, with me using my primary pad being the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn Pro, a softer pad here, definitely a slower pad, I don't notice that issue. But I think why I don't notice that issue, again, even compared to the Logitech or something, is this is a smaller mouse for my hand. So if it was a bigger mouse, I'd probably be gripping a little firmer and press it down a little firmer, and I would notice it. As you see right there, going to the left, you'll hear that little bit of drag if you were to grip and press a little harder. But with it being a smaller mouse for me, again, even though that issue's there, not a fault for me. Now I want to talk about shape. And you all know Old Techni, I love doing my comparisons. But honestly, we don't need many comparisons here. Honestly, with many Phantek products or their mice, they seem like one of those companies that are going to do a lot of copy shapes. Heck, even along with their headsets. A lot of them look like Logitechs or Razers, and the same thing with their mice. But we see this in the mice space a lot. There's no denying the Phantek Helios 2 is a Zowie S1. It is the smaller one. Is the S1? The S1's the smaller one, right? Anyways, the smaller S mouse, right? That's exactly to the T what this is. It flares out a little bit on the back. As you can see it kind of coming out right there. Bam, over on this side, if you look at the bottom, you can see that flare a whole lot more. And when you put it in your hand, for me at least, medium to large hands, it's clear as day fingertip. For me to like relax Claude, I gotta set my whole hand down onto the table. So like I stated, it is a smaller mouse, and no, it is not for me. I will tell you what, my 9-year-old son playing a lot of Fortnite, he loved the shape of this, and he's honestly probably going to main this after this video. He really enjoyed it right there, right? But again, it's really nice. You can lock your thumb back there, and bam, it sits into that position. The side buttons are right there. You got that little rest back there so the mouse isn't going to slip away from you with your pinky. The S1 shape. We all know it. We all love it, and that's what this is. But I want to give you a couple comparisons if you never used the Zowie S1. Number one being the SteelSeries Aerox 3. That's pretty much what this is. It feels just like it. You can see the flare out on the side right there. Bam, grooves out here, and then sits in there. Of course, the design's quite a bit different, but that's pretty much what this is. The Aerox 3, I would say, is a little bit bigger. The hump would be a little bit more up here. When this, it just rolls off back there. There's really no significant hump, at least for me. The Aerox, you probably got a little bit more precise hump. Now, this one over here, the Pulsar, this is the X2H. So, not similar shapes whatsoever, but I wanted to talk about this because this is pretty fresh in my mind here. And if you use this, you know that hump is in the back, like clear as day. Like just look at it like this. You can see it goes up, hump down, right? So when you look at this over here, you can see you still got that rear hump, but it definitely slopes off a whole lot more gradually and just kind of flows with the mouse. That's really what you got here. You got that flow all the way down. I'm going to say it over and over. Zowie S1. I think everyone should know that. You know what I mean? But again, if you haven't, that's why I want to give you this. So if you talk about the X2H here, it clear as day. When you put it in your hand, bam, no questions asked. That hump is hitting you right here. And when I put my hand over here, my hand's almost above it. It's barely touching at all. Like, again, I got to put my hand down to get it on top of the mouse. When this one, I set it right there, bam, it's there. So if you've never used the Zowie mouse before, the Zowie S line, I would say the closest comparison is going to be the Aerox 5 or, again, any clone shape of the Zowie S1. Now, as far as weight, Phantek is stating it should come in at 55 grams, so we're going to slap it on the scale here. We are getting right at 54.9 grams, so right on the money there. But I will tell you, the Helios 2 Pro does feel slightly front heavy. It's mild, it's very mild. That could be, again, because it's a smaller mouse, but in my hand, I can tell that there's a little bit more weight up at the front from where the buttons crest up there compared to the back. And that's much different from our sponsor of the video, old Snugsy, a little bit more rear heavy. Now I want to talk about my time actually using this mouse. And the majority of my gameplay lately has also been Fortnite, right along with my son. I'm not great at Fortnite. I only play 0 builds, but I've been having a lot of fun with it, right? And my primary mouse I've actually been using on Fortnite has been the new glorious Model O Pro. Believe it or not the Model D, because I can feel myself moving around a little bit more, right? So coming to the Helios, as you caught me throughout this video, it's small. It's too small for me. No, I can't main it, and I honestly don't prefer using smaller mice. I think like the Model O or even the Viper, I get the same vibe with the Viper as I do with the Helios, where I can't get that lock in the back of my hand and I can't sit there and hold it and pull it back. That's what I prefer. Again, I've used to play a lot of Call of Duty, hopefully to start getting into that again, but I like to be able to move fast and also lock and really hold and dial in my shot, pull it down, you know what I mean? So with a mouse, smaller mouse for me, it's more of that flicking and dipping, right? Moving around fast. So if you're a builder, that's where something like this comes into play. But again, I'm playing 0 build here, and I couldn't really hold my shots. Again, we all know, then as I just stated, that's the result I got with this here. I couldn't hold my shots. I could still get shots and I can move around quicker, you know, but I just couldn't hold them. But that's not a fault of the product. That's just my personal preference. It's too small for me, right? And I don't build, so I'm not needing all that flicking. Another thing I want to touch on here is as far as the dongles, the 4K and the regular, and then the software. And as far as the software, you can dive in there and really customize everything you want. Saved profiles, your DPI, your buttons right there, the liftoff distance, your click, the debounce or button latency, whatever. And then you can actually go in there and program to your 4K dongle. And that's where you're going to actually update it there and then update your dongle. And then you'll get into pairing mode with your dongle to the mouse, where you're going to hold down the 3 buttons, the 1, 2, and then the scroll wheel, and it will pair to the 4K dongle. But more importantly, do you need that 4K dongle? Should you upgrade to it? And I will tell you what, my experience with it, the first couple days I was using this mouse, I only used it with the regular dongle, the dongle that's included, the 1000 polling rate. That's because I didn't have the software for the 4K one. Once I actually got the software and downloaded it and synced it and paired it and all that, I started using just the 4K one. And I will tell you, my system had no hiccups whatsoever. The mouse didn't lag or delay or nothing crazy like that. I didn't notice dramatic battery drain or anything. Again, I do keep that DPI light off on the bottom, but honestly, I didn't notice a difference from the 1000 to the 4000. As you all remember in my glorious video, I stated, yeah, I noticed 4000 polar rank to 1000 because I was testing 1-to-1, back to back, round to round, right on the screen, right? I had both mice and I'm just testing it. So again, me using this for a few days and then plugging just into this one, I honestly didn't notice a difference. My gameplay didn't improve, nothing hiccup or jittered, you know? So I don't know, it's 4K, 8K, all that stuff these days. It's almost like what is this? A 10 or 15 buck upgrade to this. It's almost one of those things where it's like, well, heck, why not just do it so you got the best specs, you know? But no, I don't think you're gonna notice any gains, and I didn't either. So at the end of the day, is the Phantek Helios 2 Pro worth the asking price of 85 bucks? 85 bucks with the 4K dongle. It's actually 70 and some change without the 4K dongle. That is a pretty enticing asking price for a solid mouse. I do think it's solid here. Again, the one thing that probably eats away at me, and I'm getting more used to it now because that's all we're seeing, is a Zowie clone. I think I stated Zowie S1 through this whole video, but it's the Zowie S2, the smaller one, you know? Zowie makes the best shapes. I've stated that since day one. But Zowie's sitting in the background not doing anything. And as much as I hate clones and copycats, we see them a lot these days. And that's what this is. And as much as it irks me, someone's got to do it. And this is a great Zowie S2 clone. The one thing I don't like about it, besides being small, because that's personal preference, but if there was one thing I was to nitpick and pull apart from this product here, is the coating. I just don't like the coating. It feels cheap. So there we go, the Phanteks Helios 2 mouse review. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I was able to help you out just a little bit, if even. And if I was, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye now.